In this video, I'm going to break down the missions in Deadzone Outbreak. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is missions. So now, for these videos, what I did was I've already highlighted all the stuff that is new or what I would like to discuss, just the highlight points, and we'll get to it. So, first off, originally we had 4 missions, which was Patrol, Scour, Breakthrough, Seek, Search and Destroy. I say Seek and Destroy because of the Metallica song. Now, there are 4 new missions. Now, it makes sense that there are 8-sided dice. We should have 8 missions. So the missions are Scatter, Divide and Conquer, Invade, and Occupy. So we're going to get to those in a second. I'm going to show you the whole thing. But before we do anything, there's a new thing here. Now, in the last FAQ, before I was on the rules committee, they had a few different things to expand your force. Let's say you had 4 cubes, which would hold 16 sizes of models. So you could have 16 size 1s in there, or 8 size 2s, and so on and so forth. Let's say you have more than 16 sizes. You have 20 sizes. You need an extra cube. So basically what happens here is you would expand your deployment zone by the minimal amount of cubes. So basically if I need 1 cube, I get a cube, but my opponent also gets a cube. If I need 3 cubes, he also gets 3 cubes, and it makes it even that way. I like it a lot. I was calling it Coach's Cube before we got onto the rules committee, but now it's just, it's a rule. I'm really happy with that. Recon and Scout are used, same thing. Now, VPs, for some reason, this was not in the book before, and the reason being is because they didn't have the typeface. They didn't have room for it. It just got left out, but it was in the FAQ, so now it's here. So if you have a 100-point game, 12 victory points, 150 is 16, 200 is 20, and for every 50 points extra, just add 4 points to it. So 250 would be 24, 300 would be 28, so on and so forth. So we like the sweet spot for us is right here. It's 200 to 20. That's where we like to be. Okay, so here are the original 4 missions. We'll start with Patrol. First mission, this is the one everybody learns with. Okay, you have your 4 objectives, 2 2-point, 2 1-points. Now, the deployment zone is bigger. It used to be just from here to here and here to here, but now there's an extra cube here. I like that better. You need that. You need that extra cube because it's only, you get 4 here, you only 16, so now it's up to 20. If you put a tower or something, some terrain in the deployment zone, it's not bad. So with this, it's the same as before. If you use items, you discover intel. These are the objectives. You got to be the only one on it, and you get VPs for killing enemy models. So if there were 3 VPs, that goes towards your total. Now let's look at Scour. Okay, Scour 2.0. I never really liked Scour. The original Scour was, let's say you were here, you run up, you grab an objective here, and then you run off. I don't like missions that run off. I really don't. So what we're doing now is it's very cool. You pick up an item, you run to here, you get in your X. Okay, you get in your X, and that's your drop-off zone. That is basically that is the catch cube, and you're in your deployment zone. The item is then removed from play as a free action, and the player gains 1 victory point. So let's say you're here, right? You have your item. You can actually drop it off, turn around and shoot, or turn around and run, whatever. You can use command dice, whatever. A lot better. Also, if you notice, we have 2 extra cubes right here and right here. So we're expanding the deployment zone. I like that. Depending on where you put your items, anywhere but in your deployment zone. So let's say there's one here, but your deployment zone's here. You'd have to run and get it. This is a little bit better. This is really supposed to be scouring the board for items, dropping them off here. It's a great thing. I think Rob Harper from Deadzone the podcast came up with it, and it was good. That's the way we've always played it with that. So we usually put like a ship or a vehicle here, so that's where you drop it off. But now it's here. If you want, you can change it, put it somewhere you want, but that's up to you. But this is how it is in the book. Okay, the next mission is Breakthrough 2.0. So I am not a big fan of Breakthrough, running off the board and wherever. I know that it's necessary. I know a lot of people like it. Myself, I'm not a fan, but that's okay. If I roll it, I'm going to play it, but here's how it goes. So basically you get all the same. You start in your deployment zones. Blue's got to run past red. Red's got to run past blue deployment zone. You know, if you use intel. Now, the thing is some people don't use items. Some people do use items. If you get the intel, you only get 1 for it. Over here, if you leave the board, immediately you gain the VPs of your model as if it was killed. So let's say I have a 3 VP model. I run off the board. I immediately gain 3 VPs. The guy's safe. He made it across the board. But now you're going to get 1 VP bonus for running off the board. So if you have a bunch of 1 VP models, you're going to run off the board. You're going to get 2 VPs for that. That's good. It makes it go a little bit quicker because sometimes it would drag on. So, you know, let's say you have a jet bike and you run it off. You can get extra VP for that. You know, good stuff like that. Things that are quick. Also, that gives the other guys a chance to try to kill you on the way out, like make a gun line or whatnot. So it's a little bit better. It's still not, out of all the missions, I don't like this one the most. Search and destroy or seek and destroy. One of my favorites. Red and blue deployment zone. Everything is basically the same. This is a great mission. You got 3 objectives, 2 1 point, 1 2 point. Go out there, kill each other, shoot each other, hold the objectives. Very similar to patrol, but you know, just a little different deployment zone, and that makes this objective very, very, very important because it's the only 2-point objective in there. So those are the 4 previous missions with some updates. I really like the updates to them. I think they're very positive and moving Deadzone forward. Okay, so let's start with new missions. Here we go. First one is scatter. Now, if you notice, there are 4 deployment zones. 2 red for 4 cubes and 2 blue with 4 cubes spread along the board. Okay, it's a little crazy. So whoever wins the recon gets to deploy first. So let's say I'm the red player. I would put all my guys in right here. Then the blue player would deploy in one of these. Then I would deploy here, and then he would deploy here. So the 4 of us would go there. Now, missions are basically simple, all right? It's a regular mission. You hold an objective, you get 1 point. If you kill a model, you'll get the VPs for that. Here's the caveat. Right here, scout moves are not allowed. So in this particular mission, if you have a heavy scout army, it's really not going to come in handy. So, you know, because you're already pretty much scattered above the board. Now, do you go for this one? Do you guys converge? Do you try to kill? Whatever. You know, this is a pretty cool mission, up in your face. Very, very cool. Like it a lot. Next mission is divide and conquer. All right, so now there are 2 deployment zones. There are 4 here, 4 cubes here, 2 cubes here, a total of 6 on both sides. So it's a little bit, what do? You put you guys in the back, put them in the front. It's up to you. Now there are 4 2-point objectives, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So it's very symmetrical, very similar to the other mission. But what happens is it's just your standard rules for it. Stand on the objective. You got 4 guys in the objective. You're only getting 2 points. You have to be only your strike team, more members from your strike team in there to get it. If someone else is in there, you're going to contest the objective. That's basic rules from the basic rule book. Also, killing enemy models in there. If you play with intel, the intel also is in there, and you will get the 1 point for intel. Basic mission, very cool. So if you look at scatter, okay, scatters, everything's in the middle. Deployment's on the outside. Now, deployment zone's in the inside, and the objective's on the outside. So 2 totally different ways of playing, 2 different strategies, racking your brain. Very cool. New mission 1 and 2. Okay, next new mission is invade. Okay, total deployment zone all the way over here, and all the way over here, all the way across. I like these. You know, these are pretty cool because it's I start here, you start here. Now, if you notice, there are 4 objectives on the board. So what you do is this. Anyone can claim a 1-point objective. So the red can come here, it's 1 cube closer to them, or they can come here, which is 1 cube further away from them, closer to the blue. If you want 4 points, you got to get you behind here. So blue has got to come all the way across right here, and red, you got to come all the way across to here. Obviously, if you get the intel or killing enemy models is part of your victory points. But if you want to get the objective points, I mean, 4 points is no joke. So only one that in this area right here, the only ones that can occupy that are the red. And the only ones that can occupy this one is the blue. So you got to run all the way across. This is a good mission in my opinion as far as breakthrough is concerned. So instead of running off the board, you got to occupy something in almost in enemy territory. I do like that a lot. All right, last new mission is Occupy. This one's a little bit, it's a combination of all the other ones. So we have a nice 5 cube deployment on both sides. But here's the thing. There are 4 2-point objectives in the middle. So now, if you can get to the middle, occupy 2 of them or 3 of them or even 4 of them, get 8 points plus kill a few models. Might be over quick, but the thing is, it's right next to each other. You know that your opponent's going to come get here. You know that you're going to scramble to get here. So what do? Do you bait him? Do you shoot him? Or do you fight him before he gets there? I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to play it. Obviously, if you kill enemy models, discover intel, all that great stuff, it's still in there. It's typical mission apply. This one is, though, if you're going to occupy it, it kind of reminds me of World War I trench warfare, right across from each other where you see each other and you're just fighting. You know, you can see the white of their eyes, that type of deal. I do like this. It's a real change. So as far as all the missions, they're so different. And the old missions are still good with the tweaks in them. They've been better. So now we have 8 solid missions for Deadzone. I am very excited to get this going, get this on the field. And what's great about it is, if you're like us, we have every faction. So we can play this particular mission, Occupy, with the Asterians and Maison. Or then we can go Nameless and Forge Fathers. And then Enforcers versus Plague. And so on and so forth. Rebs and whatever. And maybe even some Mars Attacks guys in there. The thing is that every mission can be played differently, and every mission is played differently with the faction that you have. And then in that faction, if you're a shooty, if you're a combat, or a combination of both, you're going to play these missions differently. This is very exciting. All the new missions that we have, and also the missions, the improvements, and tweaking of the old missions. It's a very exciting time to be a Deadzone player. And I just love the fact that we can do this. So guys, really thank you for being here. It was incredibly exciting for me to present this information to you. Stay tuned. We're going to do a lot more Deadzone Outbreak videos. I'm going to break down everything in this book. If you want to know about Deadzone Outbreak, this is the place for you. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.